Okay, August 26th, Finance Committee meeting. Mr. Miracle, you're on first for standing reports.
Good evening. Typically, after the month end, I send the end of month reports to everyone, and I assume everyone got those. So, moving forward, if there's something that you want specifically that we can go over, please shoot me an email. We can bring those up. I didn't bring my laptop up here this evening. Had to get a new computer today, and I don't have those. It's not fully loaded. So
Yeah.
But was there any questions on any of the end of month reports that you were able to review? Okay.
I don't
Just
have.
want to make sure that each meeting that make sure that you get them. If you have any questions, you can email them. We can talk further. And I think maybe next month we can even put them up there and go over them real quick, just so that the residents can get a look at what everything that's on there. So so that's that. We have just wanted to update you on a few things. VIP SSI. As you know, we're going to be using the VIP analytics, and in talking with the team from VIP SSI, it has come to our attention that we are 3 versions behind. We currently have 6.4 installed, and we need to install 6.5, 6.6, and 6.7. So Jerry Smith and T.A. Brown are working on that, and once that happens, then we will be able to move forward on that. So we should have something very shortly with that. Send out an email with usernames, passwords, and then we'll go over that quickly and give you access to that. So that's the VIP system that we talked about. Also with the Monday.com, which we're working on, we did get the contract, and then I did forward that to Mr. Gary. As you may or may not know, I send all contracts to the law department because I would like for their review. I think this is just a boilerplate contract, but I still want him to review that. And then once he gets that back to me and gives me a thumbs up, we're going to move forward with that as well. So just for everyone's listening, that's the system we were talking about, I think at the last meeting, we can monitor progress of some of the projects that we have. So, and then just to give you an update, we received 15 applications for the deputy auditor.
Great.
We've vetted that down to 5. And we have a panel that is interviewing. It's our HR director, Lori Zombach. I've asked Jeff Forstetter and Sasha also to sit in with myself. And so we've been through 4, and we have our final first round interview tomorrow afternoon. So we had quite a wide net, and some very qualified applicants. And hopefully by the September 9th meeting, correct? That is somewhere about. We should be able to share that information of who we selected. So, and then also this is something that came to our attention. Darren's wife was retired from Alexander. I was trying to think of the city, municipality. So I think she's going to try and help us out 1 or 2 days a week. What we've started, which she started today, so she'll be an independent contractor. We started working on the report on accounting methods, and one of the things that we're trying to catch up on is all the W-9s. So she's reaching out for those. And then the second big project she's going to work on, as you know, we talked about, we do now have approval for the retention schedule. So we're going to start going through those boxes.
Get rid of some.
So it might take a minute, but we're going to start off probably 5 or 10 boxes at a time with the oldest ones and go through there, make sure, and then there's a process we have to follow, and then we can have those shredded. So we're getting that process started. As you know, that took a little while. We had to have it approved by our retention commission. Then we had to send it to the state auditor and also to the Ohio Historical Society. So we have their blessing, and now we have a guideline to the number of years that for each document that we have to keep. So that's going to be starting here soon as well. And I think that's everything that I had this evening. Mr. Burton?
All right. Thank you, sir. Let me finish taking my note. All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bonsall, just put you on the spot since the treasurer's office is physically present. Anything you want to report? I know Mr. Wagers would usually give the report.
Yeah. I would say, nothing urgent, nothing pressing. I gave some numbers at the council meeting at the last one, but I did not email you all those numbers. So I will get that to you all today so that you have that. I'll work on it in just a second. But if y'all have anything from me, just let me know. I know we're very soon going to be working on revenue projections for the next 5 years for the next kind of fiscal recovery plan, which we'll amend again probably in January when we do it again. But we'll make sure when we provide those to Noah and the mayor that I'll make sure that they get to you as well. Other than that, we're just moving forward and always happy to answer questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's the end of monthly reports. Any questions?
Yeah, if I may, and thank you both for being here. Something that I know that the end of month kind of gets at this. Maybe it's just more accounts than would be easily digestible. But I see like something that we do at work is what we call like a budget pull through meeting, where it's like we're a quarter in, how much have we spent? We're 50%, 75%, whatever. And I see on some of these, like let me find. It's like expense report July, I think where it has like a target percentage of like 58%, and then there's the month to date, year to date, encumbrance, so on and so forth. I guess just is that the easiest way to kind of get at the pacing of all these, and then just kind of take the best crack at like eyeballing, how we're doing. Just you kind of get what I'm after here is, being 8/12 of the way through the year, it's like, how are we
Exactly.
pacing?
And that's one of the reasons why you get that, just so you visually can review that and see if we're where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of a quick, we're 7 months through, what percent should we be at? And it shows you right there what it is.
Right.
So, and if there's any anomalies or anything, that's what kind of draws my attention, is anything that's not, where it should be.
It would be like kind of too far above or below that 58% number.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then just sort of on a separate note, Mr. Bonsall alluded to the FRP and the new 5-year and all that. I guess this is probably a question for both of you with regard to, what can we be doing? How can we be helping as far as the fiscal year 26 budget, and just having that as early as possible, so that people have sort of clear instructions, clear bandwidth, as far as what they're working with, and just any thoughts on how we can help move things forward.
Let you go first, John.
Thank you, Mr. Bonzo. What I was alluding to earlier, Mr. Moore, was in our VIP analytics, and we're hoping to have the up to the current version here very shortly, and then my intention is to give council the username and password, so you can see as we start to build that process, I know that the safety service director is going to be working with the department heads and already has started with that and has spoken to them about we're going to put this into the VIP analytics and also enter in the last 5 years. And so you'll start to see that building. And my wish is that that's going to happen in the next few weeks. So then you can have access anytime you like to review that and see as it's starting to build. So I would like for you to have some thought of what that's going to look like here in September. Hopefully next year we can even be a little earlier in August, because as you know, as we did the tax budget, that's kind of the beginning of that. And then as Mr. Powers gets those budgets from each department head, those start populating in there, right? And so that's where we're going to start working on that sooner rather than later. So that's my intention. So you would have several months to kind of review and ask questions and be able to check that out anytime that you wish. And we can even do that in here when we come in the finance committee meetings as well.
Okay.
So, or unless you have a quick follow-up, I can give you my answer to that if you want. So just for my 6 years on council, 2 years as chair of finance, I do think there's some things that you all could be doing to, as kind of prepare for this. The first is to think about, just one, this is kind of simple, but just think about the things that weren't in the last plan that you might have wanted to be in the plan. And so that might have been, I'm going to channel Dana Bull here, that might have been having a 1 day a week arborist. It might have been having, it might be some additional funding to Norwood Community Television. It could be that there's a specific park you want more dollars to attention to. What are some of those items that are like, we really want to see those in the budget? I would recommend that then finance committee kind of accumulates those items, and you can solicit them from outside finance committee too for the rest of council, but accumulate those items, review them here in finance committee, and then present them to the audit, the auditor and the mayor and the safety service director, saying like, hey, these are kind of things that we want to see in there. It could be that you want a fully funded, you want a clerk of, like your own clerk of council that's not funded, combined with HR. So it could be that you want a fully HR secretary, and then you want a part-time council secretary. Whatever those things are, I would say, and dream big too. Like the budget, there is opportunity in the budget to do things that maybe we don't traditionally do. So I would recommend getting those together, combine with those, and then present them to the administration. Because if we wait until even you see a first draft of it, it's starting to get too late to fit a lot of those things in. And you really want to kind of get in there. It's not that it's like us versus them, but just in general, because I've been in the council seat. You kind of want to get in their head as early as possible, just to about the things that you're going to want, because it's easier to do before they put everything that they want in the plan. So if you've kind of already, to change it later where it's like, oh, now I've got to cut some, the mayor's got to cut something I want to do here, it's just a little bit harder. So, and then just keep talking about it with them. Mr. Gert, I think this is where your leadership's really going to shine here, because you'll want to keep them following up every couple of weeks. Like, hey, can I get the updated where you at? Just a draft of where you're at. Can I, is this in the plan? Are we on track here? What are your thoughts? And, just kind of keep pushing at that, because, as council, we can't just amend the financial recovery plan on the fly, unfortunately, or you all can't just amend it on the fly. So it's that kind of, it's not pestering, but, just, you've got to, just a little bit more work outside the room that kind of really helps to get your all's priorities there. So just something to think about as you all kind of move forward. And I've experienced my own frustrations as I want something in and it's like, nope, too late, can't go in. It's like, oh my gosh. So, I think you all have a great opportunity here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And to Mr. Bonzel's point, that's why I want to get it to you sooner
As early as possible.
rather than later. Yes, well said, Mr. Bonzel.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's move on to claims. Like I said, we don't have the claim form in front of us. I'm familiar with the two claims that we need to process that have been drug on since February or April, I believe. So they both deal with an incident on Floral where a tree in the Devil Strip fell onto the house.
Right.
So it was our tree that fell onto this house, and somebody from the city had told these people that we would pay for it. I don't know who somebody from the city is, but somebody did. And what I've communicated with both parties is that we would have to vote on this, but we could pay the deductible of their plan. Even if they don't file a report, Keith Moore has said that in the past we have done that as a committee, voted to say, well, even if you don't file a claim, we will, or file a claim with your insurance, we would vote to give you the deductible of your claim, no matter if you did that claim or not. Do you have any questions? I know you've been in contact with one of the property owners. Do you have any questions about this?
No, I feel I'm fine with that order of events, or I'm fine to vote on that tonight. Because I know they've been waiting a long time, and I feel bad that they've had to wait even longer. Because I know I've talked to the individuals involved as well.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I think we've all said,
So is there any objection to, I mean, I don't know if I'm moving too fast on this or not, but I'm just trying to get your take on it. Any objection to this, to paying their deductible, whether they filed a claim or whether they filed an insurance claim or not?
yep, that's fine with me. I vote yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Deductible, yes.
I'm fine with that too, in the sense that I feel like they've made their case as far as sort of what happened and the pictures and, you know, all that kind of stuff, the amounts they've incurred.
We have sent somebody to grind the stump out. So
Oh, good.
we've clearly taken ownership that this was our tree.
Yeah. And Mr. Bonsall, do you have a thought of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you just a second. And by the way, I don't want to know who it is, so don't tell me. But I don't know who this is. How much was the deductible? How much?
We haven't gotten that information from them yet.
Yeah, I would just. Yeah, I mean, it'd be helpful to know that. Like, I mean, you know, is it 10,000 or is it 2,500? You know, I would think that might just be interesting for y'all to know. The other thing I'd say is, does the law department gave you all any kind of I mean, they're not going to certify anything, but if they kind of give you all any yeah, we would be liable for this or not. 'Cause I mean, sometimes if a tree falls, again, I don't know what the situation is. The tree, you know, sometimes it can be considered an act of God, and maybe this was, maybe this wasn't. But I just want to make sure you all don't. Did they give you all any indication about what they thought of the claim, whether it was?
Law department has said that we do not, we're not responsible for the damage done to the house. That should go to the insurance first. That there's some ORC that says that they can't come after us for the tree damage. They have to file an insurance claim. They've said that this has been done in the past, that we have not accepted responsibility for it, but we've said, you know, we will pay for this part of the damage. We've done that in the past.
For a similar situation, and I don't know what the. Yeah, no, that's helpful to hear. So yeah, and the other thing is just that these claims in general, I don't know why, and it was like this when I was on council too, so it's not like they're doing anything different. But I really don't know why we're not getting a staff report. You're not getting a staff report and a recommendation from the city administration on whether you should do these or not. And again, I've been saying this for years, so it's not unique to the Snyder administration. But you know, to leave this elected council to try to figure out the legality or the chances of a lawsuit or what are all the things that might come into play. And again, not this specific claim, but I do hope that in the future we can figure out a way to get, us more acting on recommendations from the city administration versus the council. And I say us, I mean, the council acting on recommendations for the city administration versus just you all having to wade through these and figure out and what's right, what's wrong, and because it's just, it's kind of hard for the finance committee, in my opinion, to act like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, no, I appreciate you. I didn't mean to interrupt your all's
No, that's appreciate
thing,
it.
but just something to think about.
Yeah, and James, to your point on the deductible amount, I don't have the number in front of me, but I do believe I saw that from one of the affected parties. And to your point, I don't think it was $10,000 or whatever. I know the total amount they were seeking was just for the damage was like, I think $1,300, give or take.
Okay.
And then the deductible would have been some number lower than that,
Sure.
500 or something like that. It's
Yeah, no, that's
250. So yeah,
that's informative.
yeah.
When I
So
hear
the,
tree hitting house, I get like, oh my god,
$10,000.
like what is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree that detail is important, but my comments were sort of made in through that lens of, yeah. And I would, again, we don't have the claims right here in front of us. Not sure the administrative side of that, but directionally, what I said a minute ago is I'm directionally supportive of that course of action, because I also understand, having filed a homeowner's claim myself, that carries implications for, other costs that come later in the form of higher premiums and things like that. So I understand the incentive to not file, but I also would not want to leave them completely unreimbursed for, as best I can tell, a situation that maybe could have been prevented.
Yeah. No, it sounds like y'all have kind of thought that out. It's great. Thank you.
All right, the last item on the agenda tonight is Norwood Community Television. Let me give you a quick update. I think everybody's up to speed, but just for public order. The Norwood Community Television has made us aware that they are short funding because they are funded primarily from
Antenna fees or license fees?
license fees, thank you, from cable television. So with cable television becoming less popular, of course, the funding for NCT, Norwood Community Television, is gone down. Tyler has made it clear to me that as of tomorrow, they were going to not be able to make payroll. But Mr. Miracle found some unencumbered funds, or some funds that were due, but like sitting in our bank account that were due to PACE. And so Mr. Miracle last Monday, and it's been 2 Mondays ago now. So yeah, last Monday wired that money over to NCT. So they have enough money to operate what I believe, if I'm doing the math correctly, through the end of the year.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, because you had said 10,000 would get you a few months, and this was 21,000. So what we're here to discuss is the starting of the conversation to decide what happens to Norwood Community Television. If we do not add some funding from them from Norwood City's budget, they're going to be in a world of hurt. And so we're just here to start that discussion, what that looks like to move forward. If we are willing to go before the Safety Service Director and recommend a pot of money to be collected, or what our recommendations are going to be. Tyler, do you want to start off by saying anything? You sent us the report. It's a 17 megabyte report, so it wasn't too easy to print and download.
Right.
It's very helpful.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't like when people tell me.
Exactly.
Huh.
I'm trying to hit this button and it's not switching the camera. So,
You can
what
come
you
over
said,
here.
though, that was a good introduction of what our issue is. And I think maybe if our board president, Jane Grody, is here, and Joe Peters is also on the board, I think maybe if you can take it from there, I can switch the camera.
Joe, can you switch the camera? No. Just push a button.
Yeah, just push buttons.
I'm Jane Grody. I'm the chair of the PACE Telecommunications Board, which is the board that operates Norwood Community Television. And just, I'm not sure if people are aware of the background of this. Norwood was actually the first city in Hamilton County to have cable television. At that time, the Warner Company came in, created, we came to the city of Norwood back in 1983 to create cable television. At that time, it was a monopoly that had to be granted by a city to allow people to have, only one company could do it. And as part of that procedure, the Warner Company, one, created a studio, which was up on Montgomery Road, which is now where the resources counseling the section is. The They pay a franchise fee of 5% of what they brought in from subscriptions. And they also put a surcharge of $1.75 on every subscription that went to PACE. The franchise fee went to the city. The $1.75 per subscription per month went to support PACE. I was on council, the original cable broadcast council. You see that little closet back there? We used to have a camera that every council meeting would be brought out to tape, that then shown on council the cable afterwards. Obviously, that has progressed as cable progressed within the city. Actually, the Norwood City Council meetings became a very popular source of. I actually had a fan club, I'm told. Yes. And there was a rumor that there was a certain bar in the city that every time I called a council person out of order, they would buy a round of drinks for the house.
I've heard that. Yes.
PACE Telecommunications, or now Norwood Community Television, has been covering not only city council meetings, but council committee meetings, and working with the school. The school is also part of that process, covering football games. One of the reasons why Tyler's sitting here and going back and forth is that Steve, our other employee, is covering a school soccer game, different activities, Norwood Day, the Memorial Day services up at Victory Park. For many years, we had 3 channels on the cable, which ended up having a lot of community. We had a community station where people could come in and make their own films. We won several what were called blue chip awards for different documentaries, different things that have done. These were all very active, and we still are very active. We have now moved, as people as is indicated. I keep feeling very old because I keep seeing inventions started and ending within my lifetime. Fax machines, 8-tracks, tape, and now cable, because cable started, and now we are seeing cable. People are cutting the cord. So the only income that PACE or Norwood Community Television has at this point is money that comes from the franchise fees or the subscription fees, now both from Spectrum and from Alpha Fiber. Those are based again on a percentage of the subscribers to each of these services. They are also very erratic. They come in quarterly. They come in different amounts because, again, people come in and come out of it. There is no set date that it comes in. It comes into the treasurer's office. What has happened in the past is because it's come in with with a letter saying, here's your money, and not necessarily indicating it's for these franchise fees, it sometimes gets deposited into the city funds and then not realize that it is part of, that it should go to PACE. PACE also does not submit an invoice. Basically, the agreement that was reached with the city was that whatever money came in would then be turned over to PACE. But there's no invoice factor, so it's dependent on the treasurer's office letting the auditor's office know that the money's come in, and then the auditor's office sending the money to PACE. There is no set date by which it's done, and that is partly why we sometimes find that funds have been deposited but not yet been processed. One of the things that the board is asking council to maybe consider is working a better way of making payments, that either setting up an invoice system or setting up some sort of system where there is a specific amount of money that comes to PACE on either a monthly or a quarterly basis, rather than waiting for the franchise fees to come in. Again, as part of the budget process that you're looking for next year, is maybe take that money instead of having that separate for just sort of pass through the city to PACE, to instead work out an amount that the city is going to be paying PACE for its services. The city keeps the money continues to deposit it, but an annual amount, a certain amount is paid either on a monthly or quarterly basis, either by invoice or by something set up that way. That is a possibility that you may want to discuss. It certainly would make the accounting of things easier for everybody that's involved and give a little security to our employees. The school board is also contributing income at this time. The original agreements were that the school would provide the studio, which it does at the high school, and had bought a number of equipment that throughout the years. But they have also, during this period of time when we've actually gone so short that, as Tyler indicated, that we were almost to the point of having to close down, the school board has submitted funds, and we're asking them also in their budget to submit to the to PACE for the services that are rendered. I have to tell you, we have two very dedicated employees in Tyler and Steve. In fact, at one point when we were short, Tyler and Steve both contributed their own money to keep the station going. So the board has now told them they're not allowed to do that. And we were not aware of that when it happened, and it will not happen again. But the fact is, if you want to continue having the kind of services that PACE provides to the city, to the citizens, to the school, we simply cannot do it on the franchise fee, the subscription fees that come from Multifiber and from Spectrum. It needs to be supplemented by the city and by the school. And we also would ask that we do it in a way that makes it a secure, so that we're not coming back and wondering, is the check coming to come in before we can make the payments that are doing it? To set up a system that we can have regular payments, specific payments that are coming to PACE, so that it's not dependent on the amount that comes in from Spectrum and Ultrafiber, and that it comes on a regular basis, which makes the accounting of it easier for both the city and for PACE to do. So I'd be glad to answer any questions. Tyler's the technical guy. I've been on the board since it was created. We won't talk about that. But the bottom line is, this is something that the city of Norwood has become, the citizens are very interested in this. They see council, they see the different, even during, certainly we're in an election year, this is how candidates get exposure. During the elections, we post what's going on. I have moved out of the city, and I still watch city council meetings because the PACE has moved into the technical thing of having our own YouTube channel, the Facebook. My brother, who lives in Idaho, watched the Norwood Day Parade when it was last July. So there are a lot of expatriates who keep track of what's going on in the city, but a lot of citizens use this, especially since newspapers and local television channels don't really cover Norwood. They use this to see what's going on. Someone once said that the one thing you don't want to see made is sausages and laws. Well, the citizens of Norwood for 50 years practically have seen laws being made. And I think that has kept our people very involved in what goes on in the city and is very necessary. Again, we're one of the very few cities outside of city of Cincinnati that shows local council meetings and the different things that are going on in the city. But unfortunately, it's not something we can do on franchise fees anymore. So I'd be glad to answer any questions. Tyler's here. Joe is the city. The board is made up of a representative from the city, which in this case is the president of council, a representative of the school board, and then 3 at-large members. So if there's any questions I can answer, Tyler has put together a very extensive indication of what the PACE does and the expenses. We're certainly not they do a lot on a little bit of money and spend a lot of time putting together things. So we just, if the city wants the kind of services that PACE has provided over these 40 years, we just need some additional money, and we're asking that the city include it in your budget for 2025 and as part of the FRP in order to do that. I would suggest that you look, I know that you have the communications funds where with right now with Jerry and with Tim, there was an opening. I'm not sure if you've replaced Kyle Benton when he left, but there may be some way to look into that as a possibility of funds that could be dedicated to this. And, again, we just, if you want the kind of coverage that the Norwood television provides, then there has to be some additional funding from the city and from the schools. Okay? Yes.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for your service to the city and your work with NCTV and everything. So really appreciate you being here. You were, I think, describing what I would call to be like a sort of smoothing out mechanism, and I just didn't quite catch it as far as there being sort of a fixed, predictable amount of money that would come from both the city and the schools, and then as those fees came in, there would be some sort of reimbursement to that fund. I couldn't quite, if you could repeat that.
Right now, there's a specific line item, a specific key for the funds that come in for the franchise fees. And that's what the POs are, the payments come out of that. Again, the way of the NCT was being paid has changed during the processes. But basically, the money comes to the city. And so what I'm suggesting is that instead of using it as a pass-through, of depositing that and encumbering it for NCT and then paying it out on a PO, that the city simply takes that in as revenue and creates a separate item in the budget of whatever determination is made. And that way, and then we also set up a process by which that payment is made to PACE on a regular basis, either by invoice on a monthly basis or quarterly, or just an automatic, because the city and PACE have set it up I believe that they could make direct deposits into the bank accounts so that on the first of each month, $20,000 or whatever amount is put into that, regardless of when the money comes in.
Right. So in a way, if and maybe this isn't the exact right term, but so in a way, the city would be essentially fronting the money for the expected cost of the year. That would smooth out the ability to pay people on a monthly or biweekly basis, and then as those franchise fees come in, that would basically reimburse this fund, let's say, and over the course of the year, the net of the upfront balance that's been allocated, minus all of the franchise fees that come in, sort of whatever that remainder would be, if you will, would end up being Norwood's kind of like out-of-pocket costs to fund the service over the course of the year. Is that a fair?
That's a fair way of doing it. Again, the franchise fees by law have to be paid to the city. They cannot be paid from Spectrum to PACE.
Right.
They're paid to the city. It's a city fee. So that's why we have this process where it comes through the city and then paid to PACE. So yes, basically what you would look on as PACE as an independent contractor that you guaranteed a contract or a payment of X amount per year. And the money that comes in on the franchise fee is money that the city gets as an income level, which could, from a way of looking at it, is is basically taken against the money that that the city is paid. So
So in the aggregate, just in this hypothetical world, because the amounts are unpredictable, so on and so forth, we might come up with a band and say, hey, the best estimate is that the franchise fees will equal about this amount, knowing that we don't really know, right? And we're going to allocate some amount over that. And then in the net, maybe at the end of the year, we have to move a few $1,000s out of there. We have to move a few $1,000s in there to kind of land the plane at zero. But otherwise, it's sort of a good faith gesture to keep the service running in an effective way.
right,
I think I
and
can-
that's kind of what's going on right now in terms is that the appropriation set up a estimated amount based on how much the franchise fees come in, I believe.
Yeah. No, I think I think I can kind of simplify this just a little bit. So just some numbers. I don't have the packet from Tyler, but we had $178,000 in 2019 that came in from the franchise fees into the city in 2019, and it steadily decreased so that in 2024 it was only 127,000. So 178,000 down to 127,000. So I think what the best method would be if we were to want, the best method would be that we would figure out what is that guaranteed number that we want for them, basically, and then we would just appropriate that in the general fund in some key. We would put the revenues from the cable TV, instead of putting it in a separate fund, just put it in the general fund, and we would kind of operate it like we do the building department, like we do the rec department. We're not, it's not dependent. The amount that we're spending is not dependent on the amount of revenue that we get. Now, we should watch it, and we should make sure that how much extra is being used, but it would just be kind of an appropriated amount, and then you all would just decide, or I guess it'd be more like the city administration, probably at the auditor's office, and PACE would just decide how often to bill and what that process might look like. So you mentioned the school district, though. How much are they contributing?
$20,000 in checks
For one,
and $10,000 in any kind of equipment. They own the equipment.
so that's new equipment that they've just purchased that you all are able to use.
We tell them what we want.
Okay. So, but you said $20,000 though in actual cash
yes.
that they've transferred to PACE or to help you all sustain. Is that going to be a yearly thing ongoing that you suspect?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, we're, like I said, it's 127,000 in 2024. I mean, maybe you all decide. And how much were you all asking from the city?
40,000. We initially, I guess, based on the report, needed 60,000 total. And with the school coming up with an additional 20, the 10,000 was already in place.
Sure.
With them coming up with the additional 20, 40,000, I assume they didn't. I assume they paid what they could.
Yeah. So you're saying 40. So you're saying 40,000 a year, kind of ongoing, additional over the 127. The 127,000 that is like the cable TV revenue that we're transferring today.
So what you're asking, well, I think what he's asking, Tyler, is how much do we need from the city yearly, total?
That would be 40,000.
No,
Total?
total.
40,000 plus franchise. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know what it's going to be this year.
Report, I think.
I mean,
The report shows total expenses for 23-24 were at 17,000. Franchise fees collected were rounding up 140,000.
Right. So if that's how much franchise we get, it would be 180,000 roughly.
Yeah, I mean, last year you got 127. At least that fund had a revenue of 127,000. I don't know, specifically when we transferred it to you all, of course, but the fund had a revenue of 127,000. So I would just say, I would kind of figure out, what is that total city number that y'all are going to need? I mean, not saying you have to have it exact second. 180 probably might be a little bit too high. But
James looked at me like I said something wrong.
No, I think what they're asking for is
The full amount
we need from the city.
So franchise and.
Right, the total amount, let's take franchise out of the picture. How much do we need to operate NCT?
Right, and according to, I would look at it, but I think it would be around 180,000.
and then that plus 20,000 from the school district. So
Plus
you're saying 200,
20,000
or are you
less.
saying,
Plus what we get from the.
or are you saying 160 plus 20?
So what we're asking for is 180,000 from the city.
No, that's 180,000 for the city. not counting the school districts. What they put in. Because it would be the amount of franchise fees we're getting, and then plus that 60,000, they're putting in 50,000.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that, yeah, it's going to be, but how, whatever it is, the mechanism would just be, in my opinion, like the best way to do it would just be to have all this kind of move to the general fund, and you would just do an appropriation like you do for the building department or the recreation department or whatever else. But you'll just have to figure out how to, like, you all are going to kind of figure out that number and figure out what number you all are comfortable with. The city, figure out what number they're comfortable with, because I think there's been some concerns there too. So.
Well, I'm just looking at our total expenses for 170,000. That number's probably off. That I just said. Like, we wouldn't need 180,000 if we only spent 170,000. So it might be a much lower.
But it could be.
If I figure it out that way.
Yeah,
Well, I
we could
think-
just know the exact, well, not as exact a number as there can be, because then we
Right.
can mentally, cut that into 12 pieces and say, okay, every month the city
Yeah.
would be asked to contribute X $1,000, for instance. So that's,
I mean, it's sort of the budget for this year, or let's say the budget for next year. We're budgeted to spend $190,000 roughly, minus 20, we put in 170.
Mr. Gurton, could you forward that to me?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we'll do. Okay, so in the sake of time, I think we need to close the meeting, but I think the discussion needs to happen a little bit next time. And so I would suggest that you look over the report that I'll send you, that Tyler sent to the committee. There's some interesting numbers in there that I think we need to dive into and just make sure everybody's on the same page. And if we could get those numbers more specifically, that would be helpful. Thank you, Mr. Rudy.
I just forwarded it to you and to you, James.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, Joe.
Anything else for the good of the order for the Finance Committee?
All good.
All right,
Get some water.
adjourned.